Today we're going to review a solar-powered backup camera for your car from auto-vox.com, and this has got to be the easiest backup camera I've ever installed. This is an auto-vox solar-powered backup camera that I was sent to evaluate. It just comes in a nice white box. So let's open it up and reveal what's inside. As you can see, I haven't even opened this one yet, so I have no idea what to expect. Now, it's not like I need a backup camera in my car, as it's got a factory one, but we'll set this up temporarily just to show how it works. So this is the inside of the box. Comes with the camera, comes with the monitor, and it's actually part of a license plate frame. It has a solar panel on the back here which provides power, so unlike other types of cameras that require connection to your backup lights and stuff, so this will be an easy one to put on the car, and then we can actually get some real world use out of this little camera. Also included, of course, is the monitor. There's a note on here that says, please fully charge and turn on the solar battery at first use. So the thing is going to obviously have to be charged up before we can use it. Inside here there's an accessory pack. Let's see what's in here. USB cable, suction cup mount, and in the package here a lighter plug. Cool. And it's got it's detachable from the monitor, so to power it up we just plug these two together. That way you can fish the wires if desired. It looks like there's a connector on here for an antenna as well, so there should be a little antenna here that comes with it because this is wireless. What's in the bag here? Here we have the antenna and the remote control to remotely turn it on. But the antenna screws onto the monitor right there, like that. So on here, there's a little port on the bottom here, and a switch. So if we open this up, there's a switch to turn it on and off, just a power button, and a micro USB. So we're going to plug this thing in, and I'm going to leave this thing charged for a bit, and then once the battery is charged, we'll take it out and install it on the car, and we'll do some test shots. So here we go. Micro USB plug into the bottom here. Indicates red light, indicates it's charging. We're gonna let this thing charge up for an hour or so, and I'll have my lunch while this is charging. Once the battery is charged, we'll take it out, I'll put it on the car, and then we'll try it out. And we'll see how this performs and compare it to my factory system. Neat thing about this is, because it's controlled with this remote control, I should be able to turn it on when the vehicle is moving and not just have it on when it's backing up. We'll see how that works out. But in normal use, you wouldn't have the camera running all the time. You'd only have it on when you're backing up, so the solar battery would provide enough power to keep the internal battery charged. Anyway, we'll find out. We'll give it a good test. I may even put this on my car and leave it there for a long-term test, and then we can do a follow-up video later. And one thing I'm going to say right now, before someone has to jump on the bandwagon, because it seems like some fool has to bring this up every time I get something that has a micro USB, they have to sound off and say, why doesn't it have USB-C? Okay, get over it. Not everything has USB-C yet, okay? So no need to comment on it, but it seems like every product that I show that has USB, micro USB, some clown is going to complain that it doesn't have USB-C. So enough said about that. We don't need to hear your comments. They'll just get deleted anyway, so save your time. So note that the DC power adapter that plugs into the cigarette lighter also has a USB port on it, so that it can be used to, well, charge the back camera if you needed to, but this cord's not really that long. But if you want to power other devices, you can, so if you're using your cigar or cigarette lighter plug, your 12-volt power point, to say plug a phone charger in, you're not going to lose access to charging your phone, because this has a USB port built in as well. So that's nice. The suction cup mount sticks onto the back here. Just snaps in like that, and then this can attach to the windshield. If we shine a strong light on the solar cell, we can see the individual cells here. There are 10. Okay, the light's gone green, indicating that the battery is charged. So I'll unplug it, and we'll turn on the power by pressing the power button. And the light turns red to indicate that the camera is on. And it should turn off after a couple seconds here. Now it's in standby. Let's hook up power to the monitor. So I connect power, and look at that, the camera comes on automatically. There it is, running already, complete with the background. I'm going to take this out and I'm going to take it for a little walk and see what the distance is like. Okay, to activate the camera, you can either press a button on the side of the monitor. There's any buttons on the side here will turn it on, or you can use the included remote control. I'll press the remote control to turn it on this time, and then we're going to take it for a little walk and see how far it goes. So you'll notice that this is a reversed image. It's a mirror image. So this is what you would see if you're looking in a mirror out the back of your car. That can be turned on and off in the menu. Specifications are, the resolution is 480 by 272, has a 110 degree view angle, minimum illumination 0.1 lux. Waterproof standard is IP68. It transmits at 25 frames per second and has a range, they claim, of 230 feet. Although I didn't get quite that far. I got about 100 or so feet before it started to break up. But then again, I am going through a wall because I'm not straight line of sight. Outdoors, it probably would cover that full range, no problem. So that means you could install it on a motorhome, no problem. Installation is as simple as removing the 2 screws that hold your license plate in place and then sliding your existing license plate into the new license plate camera frame. Once you've slid the license plate into the camera frame, it's just a matter of reattaching the 2 screws to reattach the plate to the back of the car. Now some cars may use 4 bolts or nut screws to hold on the license plate. Most only use 2. And that's it. That's how simple it is to install this backup camera. It is the easiest one that I've ever installed, and anybody can do this in about 5 minutes. Again, here's the display. If I push the remote button to start it, it will turn on the camera. There's a shot of the garage. Yeah, I had someone drop off a whole bunch of stuff that they didn't want, so I got speakers and everything. This is stuff I got to get to and go through over the next couple months, but I just had someone drop off a whole bunch of stuff for me. That's why the back of my garage is full of speakers and crap. Anyway, you can adjust the vertical angle up and down, so you can either see more of the ground or more of a higher up view to see what's behind you. It's adjustable vertically, but not horizontally. It looks straight back. Hello, it has the backup lines on it to show, and I'm just looking at the lag. There is a bit of a lag. I'm moving my hand. I don't know if you can see my hand here, but if I move my hand away, watch the time delay it takes. Okay, so there is a bit of a delay. As you can see, my hand's in front of the camera now. Move my hand away. There is about a half a second delay. So I'll just prop it up there. You can see someone just walked in behind the car. It's got a good field of view. If I compare it to my factory field of view, it sees almost as wide. I guess it doesn't have quite as wide a field of view. Looks like it sees over to this house here. I'm just looking at what it sees here. Not quite as wide a field of view, and it shuts off, of course, after a minute. So if you're going to back up, you have the remote control button. You can tap it, or I'm just going to press a button because I didn't bring the remote control with me. So I'll just tap a button on here, and that turns it on. And now I'll back up the car. But it looks good. I see a car coming in behind me. It sees almost the same field of view as the factory backup camera. And as I back up, when I go into drive, my regular one's going to turn off. This one turns off after 1 minute, but I can turn it back on again if I desire, and it'll run for 1 full minute or a little longer, I guess, than a minute. But there's the view that it sees behind me when it's on. It's not a bad picture, actually, and it is a mirror image. Now that can be turned off. You can turn the mirror image off so that it shows the image in the right direction, but right now it sees the same thing I would see if I was looking in a mirror. It's showing me a mirror image, and then it turns off. Turning the camera on while I'm sitting at the light here, you can see the car sitting behind me. Gives me an idea of what's behind the car here. We're going to go into another parking lot and park, and then we're going to back out again with it, and then we'll test it under low light conditions. It's starting to get dark now, but I'm going to wait till it's completely dark, and then we'll test it again when it's pitch black. While I'm sitting here, I can go through some of the menus. If I press the menu button on the right, it'll bring up a menu. Now one of them is for pairing it to the camera. It came pre-paired, so we don't need to worry about that one. But some of the other ones we can adjust is like brightness and contrast. So if I go to brightness, we can adjust the apparent brightness on the monitor. I think it looks pretty good where it was set, in the middle. And then same with the contrast. Again, it looks pretty good where it's set. Next one is for mirror image. So that way, if I go into mirror image, I can flip it to normal. So now I'm seeing a picture that is not reversed. I gotta get out of this menu. I'll just leave it sit for a few seconds, I think, and it goes away. Okay, now it's non-mirror image. Most people would use something like this in mirror image just so that it looks normal for what you'd see if you're looking in a rear view mirror. So mirror image. The next one is what's the next setting on this? This is the timeout, so you can set it for 45, 60, or 90 seconds. I think that's what that is. Let's go down here and do it again. We'll take this to 90 seconds. So now I've set it to 90 seconds. And there's a reset button on there as well. I'm pushing the wrong one here. Grid lines. You can turn the grid lines on or off. Most people, if they're using it as a backup camera, the grid lines are kind of nice because it just gives you a reference as to where you are. And especially since it's mounted on the license plate, that's going to be looking straight back. Whereas some of the cameras, you can mount them and you could have them off skew slightly, so your grid lines wouldn't necessarily indicate where you're backing up. But this gives you a pretty good indication when you're backing into a stall. If you line this up with the lines, for example, it gives you a pretty good idea where you're going to go. And unlike my factory dash camera or backup camera, though, my factory camera, when I put it in reverse, the lines actually move when I turn the steering wheel. So if I turn the wheel, you can see the lines actually moved, show me where I'm going to go. This doesn't do that. The lines just stay there. But it still gives you an idea as to where the car is kind of headed if you're going in a straight line. The red lights on the side indicate that the monitor has power and that it's in standby mode. So activating the remote control button or pressing any button on the monitor itself takes it out of standby mode and turns on the camera. So now if we look at both the factory backup camera and this one, it's starting to get a little darker now, but still a very good picture. Getting a bit of reflection there. Still got a very good picture by comparison. It's a 4-inch monitor, and as you can see, because I can adjust the vertical height, I can actually see a little more in the vertical direction than my factory camera, which tends to more look down at the ground and not as much sky. Whereas this one here, because I can adjust it, I can adjust the vertical position, it makes it a little easier to see what's behind you. There we go, there's 2 cars going by. You get the idea. It's not quite as wide an angle as my factory backup, as you can see, but there's no lag, or if there's any, it's certainly comparable to the lag that's also on the factory camera. So it looks good, and I think for what it is, it's probably not a bad little unit. considering the fact that, there we go, the 90 seconds is timed out, considering the fact that you don't have to do any wiring whatsoever, which is something that scares a lot of people from going into this technology, when they have to start cutting into the wiring harness on their car to tap in for power. This plugs into the cigarette lighter for the monitor, and the camera itself is run by a battery, which is recharged when you're driving out in the daytime by the solar cell. So we're going to back out again, and then I'm going to head home. I'm going to wait till it gets dark, and then we're going to take it out and compare it in total darkness. So now I'm backing out, and I'm actually using my dash cam to see where I'm going. It's nice because you can see all the traffic behind you. Factory one shuts off automatically as soon as you exit from reverse. This one will stay on until the timeout on the timer has timed out. As you can see, the picture is very respectable, and to use it as a backup camera, you can certainly see where you're going behind you, even in the dark. I picked a particularly dark street here to shoot this on. There's no lights around me here, so it's pitch black out there. If I were to shut off the car lights, as you can see, it's totally dark. So here's how it looks in a normal parking lot with normal parking lot lights. As you can see, no problem seeing someone in behind the car, someone walking in behind. And that's the whole purpose of a reversing camera, is so you can see exactly what's behind your car. Go back into reverse here and compare it to my factory one. I think it stacks up really nice as far as sensitivity to the factory camera. We're going to back out of the parking stall now, using the backup camera as a reference. And I'm going to head home now. This is going to close off this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. The links to this product is in the description, and we'll catch you again in the next one real soon. Bye for now.